Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? And welcome back to the channel. Just kind of wanted to give you an update where I am with the second gen and the steps I'm taking to see exactly what is wrong, and to tell you about, I actually found a website. And I think one of you guys actually made a comment too, and then I stumbled upon it after we were talking, or after you guys made the comment on one of the two videos, and with me doing some Google searching and stuff like that. The website is called Blue Chip Diesel. I'll put a link in the description for their website. They have a bunch of stuff on there to diagnose. It's like 7 pages I printed off to help diagnose actually what you could possibly, or what could possibly be wrong with your VP44 injection pump. I mean, it's a laundry list of things that you can go through. Basically what I've already started, and some of the things I did know, and some of the things that I don't know. So I'm going to go over, not today because we actually have really crappy weather going on right now outside. It's snowing, and we got about 1 to 3 inches of snow predicted. So today is not going to be the day. There's some things that I've already done, which like checking make sure I've got fuel pressure to the VP. See if I got fuel to the injectors, see if I got a 12 volt power to pin 7, and see if I've got a ground to pin 6. All those things I have checked. I mean, there's a couple of other things that I need to go over there and check. Pin 5 is the signal wire to shut the VP down. With the key on, it should not have, with it plugged in, it suggested to peel the tape back, find the blue wire, light blue wire, red trace if I'm not mistaken, and make sure there's no voltage there with it plugged into the back of the VP. If there's voltage there, that means the ECU for some reason is telling the VP to keep the fuel solenoid off. So I need to go over there, like I said, not today, and check things out. Today I've got my wife's car in the garage, and we're going to go through and change the spark plugs in that. We have actually a little over 100,000 miles on the car, 115 almost, and these spark plugs have never been changed to my knowledge. We bought the car with 17,000 miles on it, and I've never changed the plugs in it, so I thought it was high time to change the spark plugs in the car, do a little preventative maintenance. I wanted to go with a little bit higher plug, wanted to go with the iridium plugs, but I bought an extra warranty on this vehicle when I purchased it, so it has a bumper-to-bumper warranty for life as long as I own the vehicle, and I didn't want to do anything to possibly void the warranty, so I just went with the standard copper plug, what they call for. I did go with the NGKs, and believe it or not, this car takes 16 spark plugs, so I was pleasantly surprised, or kind of shocked, when they told me that, or when I looked underneath the cover right there and I saw the coil packs. I wasn't even paying attention. There's coil packs under there underneath each cylinder, and I got to do some searching around, and I did not realize that the new Hemis had 16 plugs. So I'm going to go through, change those, show you what I did here as far as making my hot wire. It does say in that Blue Chip guide to make your hot wires. So what I have is I have a red wire here that's going to go to battery, and then you can see I took just a spade connector and I cut it off so it's going to mimic the plug on there. That should slide right on there and go from there. I had heard this from somebody else, but they actually say in the Blue Chip guide to make this up, and you can hot wire. They call it hot wire in the VP44. So one thing you do want to do, and I'm going to do, is make sure these are good and protected. So I want to slide that on there. So with that protected, I've got the ground over here also. That way, when I start the vehicle, if they do slide down and they touch, nothing's going to arc. And if the VP is good and it's the ECU, we're not damaging a perfectly good pump. And then I've got alligator leads on both ends, just like that. that one will go to negative on the battery and one will go to positive on the battery. Now the truck will sit there and run, we'll just let it idle with that. And then I had to go just a little bit ghetto on that. I didn't have a big bladed fuse, so we just put a small one in there. It will work the same way. All right, the last thing that I'm gonna try is a crank position sensor. One of you guys mentioned, and then I also saw it in some forums, that this is possibly the answer to. From what I read on there, the crank position sensor could possibly make the vehicle have a no start or throw codes. So we're going to go ahead and throw one of these on there also, just because with my fleet account, this is 33 bucks. It's cheap. If it doesn't need changed, sorry, I'm talking with my hands and pulling it out of frame. Anyway, it's cheap. It's 33 bucks with my fleet account is what I get it for. So, I mean, I would rather spend that 33 bucks and have it possibly be that, because from what I understand, the VP gets signal from the crank. I've heard some other people say, or I've read some other forums where they say the VP gets signal from the cam. So we're going to start with the crank sensor because it does. I did read in there, I think it was in Blue Chips forums also, actually, about the VP getting some signal from the crank. So we're also going to change the crank sensor as one of you guys suggested and kind of go from there. I'm just not, I would like to say, I'm not ready to spend, you know, $1,000, $2,000 on a new pump. Just not ready to do that, and it's just, you know, it's money, and it's not only money, it's expensive. So just, I don't know, I would like to exhaust all my options before I just throw in the towel and say it's a bad VP. I really don't want it to be the ECU either. The one thing the Blue Chip did say, if it is the shutoff signal wire, just to cut it and the truck should run perfectly fine. Right now, I'm going to get into tackling the plugs on the Hemi. So first and foremost, like I said, the plugs are all underneath there. So this cover just, it snaps on there. There's a snap there and a pin there. It just sits down and pins. And then there's all the coil packs right there that you will be replacing the plugs under. So you'll have to go through and unplug those each individually as you do them, and then pull the plugs out to replace them. All right, first thing you want to do is unplug this coil pack, and there is a little tab right there. You just press it to unplug it. Then you need 10 millimeter. Take the 2 bolts out of the coil pack and pull it out of place. And that's all there is to that. And then get a spark plug wrench on a 3/8 and pull those out of there. I'm pretty excited to see what 115,000 mile spark plugs look like. One thing that I did forget to mention that would be a good idea is just to take a quick burst of air before you take the plugs out and blow inside there, just in case there's any dirt and debris down inside there. It doesn't fall down inside the cylinder when you pull the plug out. I wanted to show you something that I noticed as I was getting ready to put the new plugs in. If you look at these 2 old plugs that were in the car and you reference it with the new one, look how thick that electrode is on the back side right there compared to how much that one is wore. You can see how that's really thinned down as it gets towards the end of the electrode, and how that one carries the same thickness all the way through. Alright, I'm all done with doing the spark plugs in her car. One thing I would like to mention on the driver's side, I had to remove the air box, and that's just this 1 bolt right here to be able to access the 1 coil pack bolt that is right there. I just didn't have enough room. And then on the driver's side, that was the worst one. On the passenger side was the front. On the back, on the passenger side, it was the back. For the most part, everything was pretty easily accessible, so I was able to do everything with I started out using my regular ratchet, but then I just switched over to the battery powered impact. Put the spark plugs in with this, never took them out and put them in with this. So you can see this is the driver's side. So they were well, like I showed you on that other clip, those electrodes wore pretty thin compared to the new ones. So, and these are the ones on the passenger side. Once again, I was really surprised that it took 16 spark plugs. I didn't really know that. I don't keep up on this new stuff like I probably should. So, other than that, I think that's pretty much going to cover it. I will try and, oh, one other thing that I learned too that I did not know. I went to take my light and stick it to the hood. Hood must be aluminum, don't stick. So I was surprised about that too. I did not know that this had an aluminum hood on it. So, who knew? Anyway, going to try, hopefully the weather's going to cooperate tomorrow to get over there and do those couple of tests on the second gen, get that taken care of. But for the most part, that's pretty much all I have. I've got my test leads right there to hotwire the VP, and then also I'm going to read through some more of that Blue Trip pamphlet that I have that I stumbled across that also one of you guys suggested, so I do appreciate that very much. So tomorrow I think I'm going to go over there and try and get that taken care of, see if it will fire, see if it's a crank sensor, see if it's a crank sensor, and maybe grab a cam sensor too. I just, like I said, I want to exhaust all my options before I throw in a towel. I'm cheap. I want to spend my money in other places other than just putting a injection pump on that truck. So I guess that, with that being said, if you don't mind, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys later on. Bye bye.